Hello everyone, it's GigaBeef here, and today I'll be showing you a 556 combo that has been working super well in PvP. You may have noticed that 556 has stayed pretty strong into the mid to late stages of this wipe, and there's a few reasons why this is the case, which we'll be delving into shortly, but the two rounds that I want to focus on today is M855A1 and M995. These are the two highest accessible tiers available for 556, and there's something special about how these two work together that has made them very popular. Bizarrely, M995 technically turns up in player progression before M855A1 now. This is a quirk of the access system in patch 0.13, as 55A1 requires Peacekeeper level 4 that only comes at level 37, whereas M995 can be crafted in the Workbench 3 once Mechanic 3 is unlocked at level 30. Although fairly lengthy, this craft is one of the best that you can do, and it gives 200 rounds, which is a fairly decent amount, costing about 1000 rubles per bullet, which again isn't bad for an endgame cartridge, but it does tend to run out fairly quickly when trying to use it in raid. Comparatively, M855A1 is about $7.25 per bullet, so at around 950 rubles using Peacekeeper's exchange rate, or potentially less if you're able to sell back some of the info items from the flea market. But either way, the price gap between the two is surprisingly small. In fact, M855A1 is almost the best thing about M995, which seems a strange thing to say, but currently we're all facing the issue that acquiring endgame rounds needs hours of crafting in the hideout unless you get lucky and find them in raid. Simply put, you tend to run out fast unless you have something else to pair it with. Many other high-tier alternatives suffer from this quite badly. The MCX's 300 AP, for example, is a really good cartridge, but the next best is 300 M62, which performs very similarly to M856A1 and is not adequate for high-level PvP due to its lackluster performance against Class 5. Even 762 BP can be problematic for the same reason unless you are literally spamming the craft in the hideout. The very next ammo is PS, which is strong early wipe, but it falls off in much the same way later on. The beauty of 556 right now is the 855A1 M995 combo, with one on the traders and one to be crafted, so they don't interfere with each other. 55A1 is also good enough for beating Class 5 in its own right, and many players use it exclusively, but when stacked together, this turbocharges the performance of your guns. So how I think it's best to use this is to put 20 rounds of M855A1 at the bottom of your mags, and 10 M995 on top and one in the chamber. This leaves 31 bullets at risk, so to speak, so even if you get one tapped, you can head back in about 6 times given the craft produces 200. This means that you're firing good ammo at the top of each magazine when you do get into an engagement. It is possible to go even leaner if you really want to stretch it, such as 10 and 20 in Mag 1 and 5 and 25 in Mag 2, and then all 30 for 55A1 in Mag 3, so that means you only have 16 M995 per loadout total, which technically gives you 12 raids worth instead. Of course, only if you don't end up using more in raid. I bring in both a stack of M995 and a stack of 55A1 and repack my magazines accordingly. By removing a single round from a part emptied magazine, you can see how far through you got without having to identify it, so you don't end up with randomly mixed mags, or using too much M995 from your reserves. Now, some people complain about this, saying that they'd rather bring a much higher ratio of good bullets, and while I understand the sentiment, if you die twice with 90 rounds of 995, that's all of it gone. There's a middle ground to be had here. However, there's something else that makes this combination work really well. Although you might not have killed your opponent in the first 10 bullets, in many cases they will have been tagged one time on the armor, so long as you were broadly aiming correctly. When the 55A1 comes through, even a single hit from M995 first dramatically increases the chance of the ammo getting through the armor afterwards. M995 itself does 40% more armor damage than 55A1 to a Class 5, and is practically a guaranteed penetration along with it, so you get full thorax damage on hit 1. This doesn't happen with 55A1 by itself, as the first shot is only about 30% likely to pen. Once a Class 5 is down to 75% durability though, the pen chance jumps up to 50%. Against the lower tier armors like the Courant and the Gazelle, it's even better than this, as these armors end up on 57% and 66% durability after the first M995 hit. This leaves the 55A1 to easily do the rest with an 80% and 64% chance on hit 2. This makes the time to kill almost the same as if you had all M995 in your magazine, assuming that you hit the armor at least once. When against an AACPC rig or a Redoute M, one M995 gets them down to 80% and 83% respectively. These are typically the best armors that you're going to be facing right now, and it's relatively rare to see. But even here, we dramatically increase the chances of success with the follow-up ammo. This is purely because M855A1 is pretty good, but not quite first shot pen good against Class 5. So one of the biggest concerns about high pen rounds is damage. There are many instances where we have seen that certain bullets will not headshot players, especially at distance, with some of the most notable examples being Igolnik for 545 and APSX for the MP7, because they start with values very close to the head's health pool. Fortunately, with 5.56, M995 comes in at a slightly higher rating of 42 damage to start with, when combined with the penetration of 53 is enough for 90% of situations. If you're single tapping, M995 will still hit a headshot through class 4 at 100 meters, because the drop off over distance is not that great. Also, because the penetration of the bullet is so high to start with, there's virtually zero armor damage mitigation until further away. Usually what kills performance of these bullets is a combination of damage and penetration dropping together at the same time, which amplifies the effect of distance, but M995 is insulated from this somewhat because the penetration starts so high at 53. At close ranges, it will also tap through class 5 helmets like the Altin and the Tagilla mask as well in CQB, so it covers most of the situations that we face as players in the game. As you might imagine, this combination is very PvP specific. You really don't want to be wasting ammo on scavs, so depending on the map and your goal, you could either start with a mag of exclusive 855A1 or have one of them tagged so that you can swap to it if you need to kill scavs and you have a bit of time to prepare. Level 37 for Peacekeeper 4 might sound daunting, but it's quite a bit earlier than max traders. Because of the escalating amount of XP that you need, getting to level 42 takes about half as long again as getting to 37 in the first place. If level is truly a problem, you could in theory use M995 with M855A1, which is unlocked much earlier, but I don't really recommend doing this unless you're desperate to try it out. That said, we do have a large variety of weapons at our disposal. Full auto 5.56 weapons in general have benefited hugely from the decrease in horizontal recoil this patch, with many of them feeling great to use. I'm personally still on the AK-101 train, as the lower rate of fire combined with the AK style modding, but with the ability to use regular 5.56 suppressors is really nuts, and it can go unsuppressed with the RRD2 if you want to. I have a whole video on this which you can watch afterwards. But to finish off, let's check out some raids on labs that didn't make it into my far forward guide using the AK-101 and the M995 stacked combos. Hello? Did I kill him? Or was he already dead? We're gonna get clips now. Oh, I did kill him. Okay, that was bizarre. There's a dead person over there. Someone's already been in here. God, here they come. Can I get out of here? Okay, right. That down there, that there, that in there. It's fine. It's no big deal. That'll be worth. There we go. That's good. That sounds bad. There we go. Right. How we doing? How we doing? My mans was not looking. Horse. Lion. Cat. Bizarre. Ah! Ah! Ow. Ouch. Parrot and a raven to complete lab zoo inventory. True. Hey, come on, one build shreds, likes to build video? No problem, I'm actually still using it. So the lack of stomach just gets you absolutely torn apart, doesn't it? Oh. So close. The guy's running the dude. I think we nearly killed him. That was super close. That was super, super close. There's another one there. Oh my god. Okay. That rooster. Okay, that was nice. That was nice. I understand what he was trying to do, but because I knew where he was, I could just like run out and kind of semi-pre-fire him. Although I didn't actually kill him. I didn't shoot him that effectively, I will say. Oh, is that LEDX? Okay. I wonder if it's worth checking though if any of them have like any of these shenanigans on them, you know what I mean? Okay. Okay, that was one of the most kind of stressy raids. Oh my god. First LEDX of the wipe, guys. So next, go and check out my video on the AK-101. Otherwise, as usual, a big shout out to all my patrons. Hit all the buttons if you enjoyed the video. And as always, have fun in your raids.